Vultures, often misunderstood and underappreciated, play crucial roles in ecosystems as nature's cleanup crew. Here's a glimpse into the life of these remarkable birds. Ecological niche. Vultures are scavenging birds, primarily feeding on carrion, which includes the remains of dead animals. Their specialized digestive systems allow them to consume decaying flesh without being affected by bacteria or toxins present in carcasses. Species diversity. There are various species of vultures across the world, each adapted to specific habitats and regions. They vary in size, from the massive Andean condor to smaller species like the hooded vulture found in Africa. Role in ecosystem. Vultures play a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance by preventing the spread of diseases from rotting carcasses. Their efficient scavenging helps reduce the risk of pathogens, bacteria, and parasites that could otherwise pose threats to other animals and humans. Feeding behavior. Vultures have excellent eyesight and a keen sense of smell, which helps them locate carrion from great distances. They often gather in groups at carcasses, where their powerful beaks and specialized digestive systems enable them to tear through tough hides and consume decaying flesh. Conservation challenges. Vultures face numerous threats, including habitat loss, poisoning from ingesting lead or pesticides present in carcasses, accidental poisoning from veterinary drugs given to livestock, and illegal hunting. Some species have seen drastic population declines. Breeding and nesting. Vultures typically form monogamous pairs during the breeding season. They build nests in secluded areas, such as cliffs or trees, where they lay eggs and raise their young. Conservation efforts often involve protecting these nesting sites. Cultural significance. In some cultures, vultures hold symbolic significance. They're associated with purification, death, and spiritual beliefs. However, negative perceptions in some societies have led to their persecution or deliberate poisoning. Understanding vulture behavior, their ecological importance, and the threats they face is crucial for conservation efforts aimed at protecting these birds and the critical roles they play in maintaining healthy ecosystems. Migration and movements. Some vulture species undertake long-distance migrations in search of food or suitable breeding grounds. These migrations can span thousands of kilometers, showcasing their ability to cover vast distances. Social behavior. Vultures often exhibit social behavior at carcasses. They might engage in dominance displays or hierarchies to access the best feeding spots. Large gatherings at carcasses can involve various vulture species, each with its place in the feeding hierarchy. Thermoregulation. Vultures use thermals or rising columns of warm air to soar effortlessly for hours in search of food. This soaring flight is an energy-efficient way to cover expansive areas without flapping their wings extensively. Parental care. Vulture parents invest significant time and effort in raising their offspring. Both parents typically participate in incubating eggs and caring for the young, regurgitating food to feed their chicks. Adaptations for carrion feeding. Vultures have specialized adaptations that allow them to thrive on carrion. Their stomach acid is highly acidic, allowing them to consume bacteria-laden meat without getting sick. Additionally, their bald heads help them keep clean while feeding on messy carcasses. Cultural significance and conservation efforts. In some regions, vultures are valued for their ecological roles and are subjects of conservation efforts. Organizations work to educate communities about their importance, mitigate threats, and rehabilitate injured or poisoned vultures. Research and monitoring. Scientists conduct extensive research and monitoring to understand vulture populations, behaviors, movement patterns, and threats. This data helps in implementing conservation strategies and protecting critical vulture habitats. Despite the challenges they face, vultures continue to be integral to ecosystems worldwide. By studying and safeguarding these birds, conservationists aim to preserve their vital roles as nature's sanitation crew and maintain biodiversity in their habitats. Scavenging efficiency. Vultures play a crucial role in efficiently cleaning up carcasses, which helps prevent the spread of diseases and maintains ecosystem hygiene. Their ability to consume carrion that other animals might avoid reduces the potential risks associated with decaying animal matter. Longevity and adaptations. Vultures are known for their longevity, with some species having lifespans of several decades. Their adaptations for scavenging, including strong beaks and sharp talons for tearing through tough hides, showcase their specialized feeding habits. Impacts of decline. The decline in vulture populations can have cascading effects on ecosystems. Increased populations of scavengers like feral dogs or rats might fill the ecological niche left by declining vultures, potentially leading to an increase in disease transmission or changes in the ecosystem structure. Efforts for conservation. Conservation initiatives often focus on establishing protected areas, monitoring vulture populations, and raising awareness about the importance of vultures in maintaining healthy ecosystems. Rehabilitation centers also play a vital role in rescuing and rehabilitating injured or poisoned vultures. Legal protections. Many vulture species are protected by international and national laws. Bans on certain pesticides and veterinary drugs that are harmful to vultures, along with regulations against hunting or trading vulture parts, aim to safeguard these birds from further declines. Ecosystem services. Vultures provide ecosystem services beyond scavenging. Their soaring flight and foraging behavior also help in the dispersal of seeds and contribute to nutrient cycling by returning organic matter to the soil through their excrement. Global significance. Vultures are not only critical to local ecosystems but also hold global significance. Their preservation and conservation efforts contribute to maintaining biodiversity and ecological balance on a larger scale. The intricate roles vultures play within ecosystems underscore the importance of protecting these birds and their habitats to ensure the overall health and stability of natural environments. Feeding competition and hierarchy. At carcasses, vultures establish a feeding hierarchy based on dominance. Larger, more dominant vultures typically get access to the best feeding spots, while smaller or subordinate vultures might wait for their turn. Courtship displays. During the breeding season, vultures engage in elaborate courtship displays, which can involve aerial acrobatics, soaring flights, or ground-based rituals. These displays help in pair bonding and mate selection. Nesting habits. Vultures often nest in secluded areas, such as cliffs, tall trees, or rock crevices, providing protection for their eggs and chicks. They might use the same nesting site for multiple breeding seasons. Vulture culture and mythology. In various cultures, vultures are symbolically associated with death, rebirth, or spiritual significance. They appear in folklore, mythology, and religious texts, representing different aspects such as purification, guardianship, or transition. Vulture species interactions. Different vulture species might interact at carcasses, and their coexistence often involves niche partitioning based on size, behavior, or feeding preferences, allowing multiple species to utilize the same food source. Regulation of carrion decomposition. Vultures significantly accelerate the decomposition of carcasses, which can otherwise take longer to break down and return nutrients to the ecosystem. Their presence regulates the cycle of life and death in natural environments. Education and community involvement. Conservation efforts often include educational programs targeting local communities to promote vulture conservation awareness and involve people in monitoring and protecting vulture habitats. By understanding the complexities of vulture behavior, their ecological roles, and their interactions within ecosystems and cultures, conservationists can develop more effective strategies to ensure the survival and well-being of these essential scavengers. Vulture flight adaptations. Vultures have excellent soaring capabilities. They use thermal air currents to effortlessly glide for extended periods without expending much energy. This soaring behavior enables them to cover large distances while searching for carrion. Vulture adaptations to carcasses. Vultures possess remarkable adaptations for feeding on carrion. Their bald heads prevent bacteria and parasites from sticking to feathers, making it easier to keep clean after feeding on messy carcasses. Additionally, their powerful digestive systems allow them to safely consume bacteria-laden meat. Vulture conservation and research initiatives. Conservation efforts often involve tagging vultures with GPS devices to monitor their movements, identify critical habitats, and track population trends. Research studies focus on vulture behavior, nesting habits, and the impact of threats on their populations. Vulture species and geographic distribution. Vultures are found on almost every continent except Antarctica and Australia. They vary widely in their size, behavior, and geographic distribution. Some inhabit open grasslands, while others prefer mountainous regions or dense forests. Cultural perception and rehabilitation efforts. Efforts to change negative perceptions of vultures in some cultures involve educational programs highlighting their ecological importance. Rehabilitative centers rescue injured or poisoned vultures, providing medical care before releasing them back into the wild. Role in disease prevention. Vultures' highly acidic stomachs can neutralize dangerous pathogens present in carrion. Their scavenging behavior helps prevent the spread of diseases such as anthrax, botulism, and rabies by rapidly consuming and disposing of infected carcasses. Vultures continue to fascinate researchers and conservationists due to their unique adaptations, ecological roles, and challenges faced in a changing world. Understanding and protecting these magnificent birds are vital for maintaining healthy ecosystems and biodiversity. Vulture reproduction. Vultures typically form monogamous pairs during the breeding season. Courtship displays involve aerial acrobatics and rituals that strengthen the bond between mates. After mating, they often return to the same nesting site to raise their young. Cultural representations. Vultures hold diverse cultural significance across different societies. While some cultures consider them as symbols of death, others view them as guardians or even symbols of fertility and renewal. These perceptions vary widely and reflect the diversity of human beliefs. Role in food webs. Vultures occupy an important niche in food webs as scavengers. They help prevent the spread of diseases by quickly consuming carcasses and reducing the risk of pathogens affecting other animals and potentially humans. Vulture behavior at carcasses. Within vulture groups at a carcass, there's a hierarchy that determines which individuals get access to the best feeding spots. Larger, more dominant vultures often feed first, while smaller or subordinate vultures wait for their turn. Vulture conservation networks. Collaborative efforts among conservation organizations, governments, and local communities aim to protect vulture populations. These initiatives include habitat preservation, anti-poisoning programs, captive breeding, and monitoring of vulture populations and movements. Adaptability to environmental changes. Some vulture species have shown adaptability to changes in their environment. For example, they might alter their foraging behavior or utilize alternative food sources when facing habitat modifications or declines in carrion availability. Vultures' complex behaviors, social structures, and ecological roles make them both fascinating subjects of study and critical components of healthy ecosystems. Protecting these birds and their habitats is essential for preserving biodiversity and ecosystem functionality. Vultures' social interactions. At communal roosts or feeding sites, vultures often exhibit social behaviors such as grooming each other, engaging in vocalizations, or displaying dominance to establish feeding order. Vulture fledging and development. Young vultures, or fledglings, remain dependent on their parents for an extended period. They gradually learn to fly and feed on carrion under their parents' guidance until they become self-sufficient. Vulture adaptations for flight. Vultures have large wingspans and broad wings that allow them to glide for extended periods with minimal effort. They can soar effortlessly by utilizing updrafts and thermals in the atmosphere. Vulture impact on ecosystem services. Vultures play a crucial role in nutrient recycling within ecosystems. By rapidly consuming carrion, they help return nutrients back to the soil, contributing to the fertility and health of the environment. Vulture species recovery programs. Conservation efforts often involve captive breeding and reintroduction programs for endangered vulture species. These programs aim to bolster populations and restore their numbers in areas where they have declined. Vulture adaptations to climate. Some vulture species demonstrate adaptability to various climatic conditions. They might change their foraging ranges or adjust nesting habits in response to climatic variations or changing environmental factors. Vultures' behaviors, adaptations, and ecological significance showcase their unique place in ecosystems. Studying and protecting these birds are essential for maintaining healthy environments and preserving the balance of natural processes. Vulture repopulation projects. In regions where vulture populations have drastically declined, concerted efforts involve reintroduction programs. These initiatives aim to release captive-bred vultures into the wild to bolster dwindling populations. Vulture adaptations to climate change. As climate patterns shift, some vulture species may experience changes in their distribution or behaviors. They might alter their migration patterns or adjust breeding times in response to changing environmental conditions. Vulture physiological adaptations. Vultures have unique adaptations that allow them to consume carrion without succumbing to pathogens or toxins. Their digestive systems contain potent acids that neutralize harmful bacteria present in decaying flesh. Vulture flight behavior studies. Research into vulture flight patterns and behavior helps in understanding their movements, including migration routes and foraging strategies. This knowledge aids in identifying critical habitats and conservation priorities. Vulture role in balancing ecosystems. By efficiently disposing of carcasses, vultures help prevent the spread of diseases among wildlife and even livestock. Their presence plays a crucial role in maintaining the health and equilibrium of ecosystems. Public perception and education. Public awareness campaigns focus on altering negative perceptions about vultures. Education initiatives emphasize their ecological importance and the need for conservation efforts to protect these beneficial scavengers. Captive breeding and release programs. Conservation organizations often run captive breeding programs to increase vulture numbers. Once raised in controlled environments, these vultures are released into suitable habitats to support wild populations. Understanding vultures' behaviors, their interactions with the environment, and the ongoing conservation efforts aimed at their preservation are critical for ensuring the well-being of these essential scavengers and the ecosystems they inhabit. Vulture feeding dynamics. Within a vulture community, there's often a division of labor in feeding. Larger vultures might tear open tough hides, allowing smaller vultures access to the softer tissues inside carcasses. Vulture adaptations for carrion consumption. Vultures have incredibly strong stomach acids that effectively neutralize dangerous pathogens present in decaying meat, allowing them to consume rotting flesh without falling ill. Role in carrion detection. Vultures possess excellent vision and sense of smell, enabling them to detect carrion from great distances. They often rely on visual cues and keen olfactory senses to locate potential food sources. Vulture relationship with other scavengers. Vultures share their scavenging niche with other animals such as hyenas, jackals, and even smaller scavenger birds like crows and ravens. They often interact at carcasses, sometimes in competitive situations for access to food. Vulture adaptability to various habitats. Vulture species can inhabit diverse environments, from grasslands to mountainous regions and forests. Some are adaptable and can thrive in both natural and human-altered landscapes.